Hi there. I'm Joyce Kraus. I am the Director of Field Education. My apologies that I can't be with you tonight. I am going to share with you a little bit of information about the Field Education program at the University of St. Francis. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through this rather quickly. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but just give you a little bit of an introduction into social work, the field education requirements for the degree, and then you'll have an opportunity to reach out to myself or Dr. Choi if you have further questions. So just so you know, a little bit about, too fast, okay. In the master's program, we have both 2-year students and advanced standing. So 2-year means you're just, you're someone coming from a degree, an undergraduate degree other than social work. Advanced standing students have a BSW from an accredited program in social work, and therefore they are eligible to complete their master's in 1 year. So I'm going to be talking about generalist level and then specialty level students, just so you're a little more familiar with that. We'll talk about the difference in terms of the requirements for field education. So in social work, field education is considered the signature pedagogy, and that means it's the primary or sort of pinnacle way that we teach social work students how to build their skills, how to integrate knowledge, and how to sort of get oriented into the practice, the professional practice of social work. And so we'll talk a little bit more about who the people are that are involved in that and what your role and responsibility is. So just in general, in the field practicum, the first year, if you're someone coming into the 2-year program, meaning you don't have a social work degree from your undergrad, your year 1 is going to be a 480-hour internship. And you have a couple ways that you can do that. You can do that over the fall and spring semester, and it's a consecutive placement, meaning you're doing 2 semesters in a row. So that averages about 240 hours each semester. And that comes down to about 14 hours a week. It's up to you and the agency to negotiate your schedule when you're going to do those hours, but it is something very important to consider when you're planning your academic schedule. If you work, if you have family, if you have other responsibilities, make sure that you're considering that at some point you're going to need to fit in those hours. And that would be, again, approximately 14 hours a week. There are some evening and weekend internships available, but not always, and it depends on the field that you go into. So it's going to be very important to know that you have to carve out that time in addition to your other responsibilities, including coursework. There is also an option to do a block placement. I'll talk about that in a second. The MSW 2-year, this would be our advanced specialty. So you're either advanced generalist or a school social work intern. And so in your 2nd year of the MSW program, or if you're an advanced standing student, you're going to need 600 hours. So you're doing a total of over 1,000 hours in your internship, whether you've done that first internship as an undergrad or as as a first-year MSW student. So you have a lot of practical experience in the field before you graduate and get into the career and find your job. With the school specialty, there is not the option for a block placement. It is a fall and spring sequence, and some schools, just so you know, will require that you continue into the end of the school year, which is beyond our academic year. So the block placement is offered in the summer. It begins as soon as the spring semester ends, so usually about mid-May, and you go through that first week of August. You do all of your hours, whether it's a 480-hour placement or the 600-hour placement, you do all of those hours in the summer semester. So you are working essentially full-time. It's 40 to 42 hours a week, just depending how much we can stretch that out. over the summer. So those are the two options: block placement in the summer or a fall spring sequence. What are you going to be doing as a generalist level intern? You are engaging in case management, intake assessment, providing resources, learning all the resources and the referral options that are available in the community. It's, the purpose is to orient you to that micro, meso, macro level of practice, working with individual clients, with groups and families, with communities and organizations. It also helps you integrate and understand how the Code of Ethics works in practice. It's a good way to start to build your knowledge base around community resources. And it helps you to identify, what some of the barriers are in your own learning, and to really kind of hone those skills. We have two types of specialty practice, and that is the advanced generalist and then the school social work. And I'm going to go through this quickly just for time's sake. Just a quick note on the schools. These are Illinois-based school placements only, so you must reside in the state of Illinois in order to be eligible for the school social work specialty. It needs to be a public school. We do have a working list of school districts that we are connected with. You'll meet with our schools coordinator, Dr. Althea Gale, prior to declaring this as your concentration or specialty. This we can skip over, that's pretty much. So there is a process for the field placement. You do need to talk with your advisor first. You need to complete the field interest form. Your advisor signs off on the field interest form and then refers you to me, and then you'll meet with me in person or via Zoom, and we'll discuss what the options are for you. If you happen to be an online student, fully online student, or even if you're out of state, the process is very similar. The one exception is that your supervisor must have the MSW with at least 2 years of practice experience post-graduation. And, we'll meet and we'll talk about what is available. If you need help getting leads, I've been able so far to reach out to, my network, and they've been very generous about helping students in California and other states. So we can do that too. So that's pretty much just a quick overview of the field requirements. The director of field education is myself. I kind of coordinate sort of everything under the umbrella of field. The field instructor is going to be the supervisor. So that's not your faculty person, but just so you know, when we talk about field instructor, that's your supervisor at the agency. And then your, that's this person. And then the faculty liaison or field liaison would be your instructor of the field seminar course. So when you're in an internship, you're also concurrently enrolled in either field 1, 2, 3, or 4, just depending which level you are. Okay, so that's just a very brief introduction into field education. I'm sure there's a lot of other questions. Dr. Choi will provide you with my email address, and you are welcome to send me any questions you might have. You can even, request to have a Zoom conversation, or if you happen to be on campus, I'm happy to meet with you here. I hope you get all your questions answered. Thank you for considering University of St. Francis, and I certainly hope to meet you all and speak with you soon. Thanks.